So welcome everybody. We're waiting for people to come in. We'll start at about 10:05. Okay, we'll start at about 10:05 when people come in, and you should be good to go. So I'll see you all in about 5.
success system that transcends time and space. To support our global members, we operate the ACT project to cultivate leadership and strengthen capabilities. We also opened the Songneeson Forest, reborn as the center of Atomi's brand experience offering programs and spaces dedicated to success. Atomy is now taking a step further, preparing A-Care, a wellness curation solution designed to enrich every aspect of life beyond physical health. With data-driven personalization and AI-powered care, we help members achieve a balanced lifestyle. To uphold Atomy's principles of absolute quality and absolute price, we empower our partner companies to focus fully on quality. Payments are made in cash within 1 week of delivery. Interest-free operating funds are provided when needed, and a joint quality management system ensures consistent excellence. Through these commitments, we build a virtuous cycle of accompanied growth. Atomy strives for sustainable coexistence with the planet. Through plastic-free initiatives, biodegradable materials, eco-friendly packaging, and resource regeneration efforts. Atomy's culture of sharing stands at the highest level, not only in direct selling, but across the entire distribution industry in Korea. Over the past 3 years, our donation to revenue ratio has been nearly 30 times higher than that of major retailers, ranking number 1 among Korea's top 500 companies. These efforts have earned Atomy accolades in sustainability, public service, family-friendly management, and Great Place to Work Asia's Best Companies to Work For. Atomy's spirit of sharing has spread far beyond Korea, with employees, partners, and members around the world joining in social contribution activities. The company that upholds its principles as it shapes a new culture of distribution. The company trusted by people around the world as it continues to grow globally. The company that looks beyond customer satisfaction and strives for customer success. The company that values the spirit at its core. We are proud. Atomy.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody was able to hear that. I think in the beginning the sound was not working, so sorry about that. But welcome.
Recording in progress.
All here. We're waiting for more people to come in, and while people come in, I will share a little bit about my story. So first, I want to welcome everybody, majority of the team. This is pre-launch team, so welcome everyone and other leaders who have joined. Thank you for coming. So the beauty of Atomy is united synergy of heart. So what does that mean? We're able to work with each other, grow with each other, and help each other better ourselves so that we'll be able to have a better future for our loved ones. That's the goal, right? So I want to welcome my leaders, individuals. If this is your first time as new members to Atomy, welcome. You are on a fun journey, and I'm going to break the lecture down today for new members who have joined. I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story and about the reasons why Atomy is an amazing tool, right? And then I'm going to talk about leadership, about what we should expect and what we should strive towards to become good sponsors, upline, and leaders, right? And then when the lecture is done, I'm going to have a leaders meeting. So if you want to leave afterwards, you're welcome to leave, but I'm going to keep going with the meeting. So today's meeting should be a few hours. So in the beginning stages, we're just going to talk about the very basics of Atomy, okay? So if you go on YouTube and you go search Coach Ju, you'll be able to see a lot of my videos. There's a detailed compensation plan video that you can watch that will cover majority of all the information in terms of how to get paid in Atomy. So I won't be able to cover all that today. Also, if you go on YouTube and just type Atomy company information or Atomy introduction, you'll see a lot of information, okay? And if you are more advanced and you already have Atomy ID, you can go to Atomy website, and on the website there's something called a channel Atomy, right? ch.atomy.com, and on there are all the official videos. So you can watch hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos in multiple different languages. So I encourage all of you today to do that, okay? So let's make sure that we got everybody in, okay? Unmute themselves. I don't think that you can now. So I think I logged everybody. So I think we're ready to go. So we got 100 people in here, and we're expecting about 200 people today. So people are coming in, and the people who are late are going to be able to maybe watch this on an unlisted YouTube link that I will maybe share. Usually I do, but if I am unable to do so, then the leaders will be able to give you an update. So, welcome all new members. So this section is for the new members, okay? So new members, welcome to Atomy. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm in South Korea right now. It is 10:12 p.m. I'm not sure where you are. You're all over the world, but that is the power of Atomy. We're able to do the business online on a global scale, and imagine there's 100 people in front of you right now. Can you imagine that? That's amazing, right? So that's the power of the internet, and that's the business that we're doing now. No need for a brick and mortar anymore, right? So I started Atomy 10 plus years ago, and I started Atomy with a simple vision, a vision to quit my 9 to 5 and to live on passive income. That was my vision. And in the beginning, my vision was, I want to be able to get into the leaders and the Royal Leaders Club, and I want to become a Royal Master. And that was my goal. That was my 10-year goal, because that was my question. One of my upline asked me. They said, so when you join Atomy, you have to make a life scenario. And when you make a life scenario, you have to kind of put your goal on there in terms of what do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. And I said, all right, those are the things that I want. I want to be able to get those because that will be plenty of income for me. And I really think that that's obtainable, right? So I'm a very logical individual. And what I try to do is I try to set everything up in a way where I can do it with real processes and real legitimate methods, right? A real obtainable goal. I don't like to reach out for something that is unobtainable, right? That's just me. So today I'm going to teach you how to do that, okay? I'm going to teach you how to look at yourself, your current positioning, and what does your future you look like, right? Are you going to be able to do these things? And the answer, of course, is yes, right? Everybody in this room can get to where I am today, meaning that you can make more than $200,000 a year and more, okay, in the next 10 years or sooner, right? So we'll talk about why 10 years, okay? And we'll talk about what does it mean each year. So that's kind of my journey. That's how I got started. So the item for me that blew my mind was, well, in the beginning, it wasn't my item, right? It was my wife. So my wife, she started Atomy first as a consumer, right? So she didn't even know that she was a consumer yet, right? So she bought something called a deep cleanser, okay? Raise your hand if you know what a deep cleanser is. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, okay? But a deep cleanser, for you gentlemen out there who don't know about cosmetics and makeup and all these things, okay? A deep cleanser is used to remove makeup, right? It's a cleansing oil, okay? I did not know that. So when I got married, my wife told me, she was like, honey, I need a deep cleanser. And I said, okay, what is that? She said, oh yeah, it's to wash my face. And I thought, oh, soap, right? Men, soap, right? So how much can soap cost? Very cheap, right? You can go to Walmart, you can go to the store, buy 3 bars of soap for $5, and that's still good quality, is what I would say, right? Well, that's what I thought. But my wife didn't go to Walmart. She didn't go. She went to the mall to buy soap. I've never been to the mall to buy soap, so I was very confused. But she went to the mall to buy soap, and long story short, okay, the soap that she bought was $100+ for a bottle. It was fairly big, but a bottle of soap, okay, to cleanse your face from here to here, this area here, this is, okay, $100 a bottle. But remember, I couldn't act surprised because I had to be we're newlyweds, and I was like, okay, honey, it's okay, you buy that, right? But when she went home to use the item, every night I watched her wash her face using the deep cleanser because I wanted to know, how can a deep cleanser cost so much money, right? So I watched her use it. So every time she's using the deep cleanser, it was a pump style, right? 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump. All I see is money, right? $1, $2, $3. Every time she's pumping that deep cleanser, all I see is money being pumped out of that bottle. And every single night, she would use the item, and I would see about $5 going down the drain. $5 every day. So remember, I said I thought it would cost $5, okay? $5 for 3 bars of soap, but it was costing $5 per day of usage, right? But after a few weeks, my wife went to my mother-in-law's, and my mother-in-law was using her deep cleanser, and my wife forgot to bring her $100 deep cleanser, right? So my wife was going to ask me to go home and bring her deep cleanser because we live very close, right? 5 minutes away. So, but my wife decided just to use the one that was at the house. And when she used that item and she came out of the bathroom, I looked at her eyes, and her eyes were clear. It was white. But the deep cleanser, when she was using it at home, you ladies, you wear mascara, right? She's using the deep cleanser to clean her eye makeup, and every night her eyes were red because the deep cleanser she was using did not do a good job at erasing all the makeup. So when she came out of the bathroom, her eyes were clear, and she said, honey, this deep cleanser is amazing. It's so much better than mine. And I thought, oh no, if it's so much better, it's probably like $200, right? So I told her, oh no, I don't want to hear. So I left, right? So I didn't ask her anything else, but she told me, she was like, honey, this deep cleanser is so cheap. It's only, how much? It's only $7 a bottle. I thought, what? How much? Right? At the time, it was less than $10. So 10 times cheaper than the item she was using. And that's when I thought in my mind, wow, I have to become an Atomy consumer. And I sat my wife down. I said to my wife, I said, honey, please use this for the rest of your life. For how long? For the rest of her life. That's what I said. Why? Because it saves me money. At the same time, it gives her good quality product that she can use to cleanse her face for 10 times cheaper. So, why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because we are in this room to do a business. And if we want to do a business, that means that the item that your business sells or the service that your business sells needs to be one that can build real consumers. Okay? So real consumers are only made when You have good products that people see value in. Okay? So that's the first step. So now we're going to jump to my PowerPoint and we're going to look at what I mean. So when you're doing this business, what you want to look at are these key features. Okay? So why does Atomy work? Why does this business work? This business can only work if you are able to build consumers for all individuals in your network. Okay? So what does that mean? If you are selling, let's say, a Mercedes-Benz, right? Can 100% of your network buy a Mercedes-Benz from you? No. So that's what I mean by target market. So when you have a market, okay, there is a target, okay? And in that target, can 100% of your network, so your brother, your sister, your mother-in-law, your friend, your cousin, your coworkers, can they all use your product? If you're selling a Mercedes-Benz, the answer is no. Okay? So then your pie, let's say that this is a pie, it shrinks from 100% to what? Maybe only 25% are your consumers. So the smaller the pie becomes, the more difficult it is for you to become successful. Does that make sense, everyone? So the first question that you must ask yourself if you are starting a business is, will my business be able to cater to everybody in the network? Okay, that's the first question. Now, when you look at this, okay, you can see that the individuals that come to Atomy can become 100% consumers. Why? Because Atomy sells everyday necessities. What does that mean? Raise your hand if you brush your teeth. Okay? We got a few people who brush their teeth. Great. Right? So if you brush your teeth, then you are an Atomy consumer. Okay? Raise your hand if you shampoo your hair. Okay. So that means that you shower, right? So everybody in this room showers, I hope, right? Everybody here brushes their teeth, I hope, right? So that means that 100% of you, everybody here today, you are what we call a consumer. Consumer of what? Necessities, right? So these are toiletries, things that you need anyways, okay? So the next question is what? Everybody wants a toothbrush, but what if I'm selling a $100 toothbrush? Even though you brush your teeth, can you afford a $100 toothbrush? No, not everybody can. Or even if you can, there's no reason for you to buy a $100 toothbrush, right? Even if it's gold-plated. Why? Because Atomy sells gold-plated toothbrushes for less than, what? In Korea, less than $1 a piece. Okay? So gold plating doesn't make it more expensive, but it does make it more, it makes it better in terms of hygiene, right? It kills all the bacteria. So now you understand that, okay, everybody can become my consumer because the product is something that I need, meaning you're not joining Atomy trying to make money and buying a product that you don't need. No, you're joining Atomy not for the hope of making money, but because you need a product. Just like my wife joined Atomy because she saw the value in the deep cleanser and she didn't need to buy the $100 deep cleanser anymore. Okay? Now, that was my wife's, okay, ability to identify the product, because all of us, we're professional consumers, right? You know what a good toothbrush feels like. You know what a good shampoo feels like. You are all professional consumers, okay? Now, The next question that I wanted to ask myself was, okay, can I franchise my business out? Okay, so let's talk briefly about MLMs or network marketing, right? So what does this mean? Okay, let's look at the power of what this means. Okay, because a lot of individuals don't actually understand what network marketing is or what multi-level marketing is. Okay, so simply put, it is a franchise model. Okay, so what is a franchise? Okay, a franchise model means that you can build your business all over the world that looks identical. So that means that if you go to Morocco, then you can buy a toothbrush that's the same in South Korea and in 27 different countries. All the products are the same. Okay? And all members have the same ability as you have in terms of becoming a consumer and in terms of building a business. That's what that means. Now, raise your hand if you want to be a franchise owner. Like, if you've heard of McDonald's, if you've heard of Burger King, if you've heard of any of these fast food companies, okay, those are franchises, okay? If you want to open a McDonald's, great, right? KFC, great, right? So what's holding you back? Why are you not opening one of those franchises? Simple. It's not free. Right? If it was free, I would like to open many McDonald's, right? Because the failure rate of a McDonald's is less than 2%, I think, right? Less than 2 to 1% failed, the McDonald's, right? So it costs what? Roughly $2 million plus. Okay, $2 million plus to open a franchise, okay? Now, as you go lower and lower in terms of brand recognition, the price goes down, but your failure rate goes up. Okay? So, that's why we're unable to do it. That's called a barrier to entry. So, everybody, I hope you're taking notes. Okay? So, it's called a barrier to entry. Meaning, if you want to expand your business, okay, and start your business, you as an individual have a barrier, and in order for you to go over that barrier, there's a fee. It's like a toll, okay? So most businesses cost money to do the business. So since that's the case, what happens is you have what we call a barrier to entry. Now, Atomy does not have a barrier to entry, meaning that everybody that comes into Atomy can franchise their business out for absolutely free. Okay? $0 is needed. Okay? You don't need to spend any money to start your business. So I want everybody in here today, if you ever see anybody telling you that you have to pay to be an Atomy member, that is a lie. Okay? So make sure that you don't charge anybody, of course, okay? And that you tell everybody that the business is free. Because I'm hearing rumors that there are individuals who are charging to join Atomy, and that is not the case, okay? So Atomy is absolutely free. So, how can something so amazing be free? Well, there's a company called Atomy, okay, created in South Korea by Chairman Hangil Park, okay? He read all the books in terms of network marketing and saw that this theory was amazing, but no company was actually implementing this theory. Rather, they were using the theory trying to make money for themselves. So what does that mean? So we're going to we're going to dive a little bit deeper so all of you remember and understand this business, okay? If you've heard of other network marketing companies that require a joining fee, what they're doing is they are buffering themselves, meaning they want to use your money to run their business, not run their business, okay, with good products and services. What does that mean? When you go to the grocery store, do they charge you to enter the store? No. When you go to a restaurant, do they charge you to enter the restaurant? No. So how does the restaurant or the grocery store, how do they make money? By selling you a product. So why do network marketing companies then charge you a fee to shop at their store? You see, that is where the trouble lies. Okay? So network marketing, until Atomy came, Atomy's motto is what? One of their mottos is to change the history of network marketing. Okay? To change the history. So Atomy is going to change network marketing history. What does that mean? Until now, all companies charged you to become an independent business owner. And even some would charge you to become a simple consumer. Wow. So we understand now that doesn't make sense. I should not have to pay to enter McDonald's. Right? What if every time you went to McDonald's, you had to pay money? That would be silly, right? But that's what network marketing companies told you need to do. Okay? Now, how about businesses? If you want to start your own business, okay, do you need to pay to start your own business? Now, this is where they get you. They say, look, if you want to run your business, you have to pay rent, right? No rent, then you gotta leave. And then the electricity, you have to pay for the electricity. You have to pay for your employees. These are called business expenses. Okay, that makes sense, right? So most network marketing companies until now would start charging you money to start the business. And nobody was against that because that made sense, right? Okay, I have to pay rent. Okay. So that means that every month you have a quota. Means every month, even if you have, let's say, $100 of commission in your downline, if this month you don't buy, let's say, $50 or $100 worth of products to pay your maintenance fee, that's called paying rent, right? Buying the product every single month, okay? Or pay for your website fee, okay? Pay for your office fee, your My Office page, right? Your back office. Then you don't get the $100, even if you have consumers, okay? And then until now, all the individuals in this field agreed. They said, yeah, that makes sense, coach. Okay, that makes sense. I'll pay. But Atomy came along and said, no, that's not what the books say. That's not what the theory says. The theory says that if you have a good product and good opportunity, then people will flood to your business. So CEO Parkes thought, well, if I don't have a good business and I don't have good products, then my business will fail. And he thought, that's good then. So how can I test this business? Okay. So CEO Park started Atomy, hoping that it will go bankrupt and fail within the first year. That doesn't make sense, right? So CEO Park said, if this model in theory is true, okay, then I should not charge a joining fee. And I should not charge a maintenance fee. Okay? Because if it's good and true, consumers will come. And when consumers come and buy the product, then I make a profit. And with my profit, I can run the Atomy company. Now, doesn't that sound like a regular business? That's how all businesses should function, right? But other network marketing companies, they don't actually have to make good products. They don't actually have to make good services because why? You have a joining fee. So they use your joining fee to run the company. Did you know that? And then they don't even have to have good products after that because the leaders have to buy the product anyways to maintain their account to get commission from their downline. So even if the product isn't good, the leaders keep buying anyways. Wow. Now you know the secret behind bad network marketing companies. I'm exposing them right now. Well, guess what? You've come to the right place. Because in Atomy, we don't do that. It's just like a regular business. If you go to the restaurant and you didn't like the food, you didn't like the price, do you go back? No. So what happens? If they are unable to provide good products at a good price, then they close the door. So that's what CEO Park wanted. They said, CEO Park said, okay, if my products aren't good and the Atomy system and compensation isn't good, we'll fail in the first year. Great, let's do that. And he started the company. But guess what? We didn't fail. We're in 63 different countries. 27 different countries are open and operating with IBOs. 63 countries are operating as consumers. And we're 10 plus years old with zero debt. How much debt? Zero debt. Now tell me if you have ever heard of another company with our track record. There is not. So since this is the case, you can build your business. That means that you can start your franchise. That means that you can expand your business all over the world for the price of free. $0. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Is there anything else in the world that you can do right now for free that has this kind of product reach? Some of you are very smart and will say, yes, coach, there is. Okay? Will I have you covered? And the answer is yes. There are other opportunities that you can do for free. Now, we're going to go to the next step. Okay? And I'm going to tell you about how Atomy is different from those other businesses that are also free. Okay? So some of you are very smart, I know. And you're saying, coach, I can start other businesses for free. Yes, you can. Okay? So now, let me tell you the difference between Atomy and those other ones. Have you ever heard of something called ability and effort? Okay? There's two different things. Effort is what I say that all of us can do. So you can work towards making a better future for you and your family. That takes effort. That doesn't take ability. Okay? Ability is something different. It's a skill. Ability is a skill that you develop and grow. And some people, even though they put in a lot of effort, can never get to a certain ability needed to accomplish that goal. So what do I mean? What do I mean? Can you say good price, Okay? Let's say absolute price, absolute quality. Can you say that in Korean for me? Ready, set, go. Oh, no, you can't. Why? You can use all the effort that you want. You can keep trying. But if you don't have the Korean language ability, that's called a what?